大家好，这是第10课，我叫 Warren，我是你的英语老师。This is lesson 10 and the last lesson. 这是最后一堂课。It is a review lesson. 总复习。We will review many important grammar points. I will go over simple past tense and simple future tense verbs. Jim will review auxiliary verbs and adverbs of manner. Priscilla will review clauses and your homework. Do you remember the slide from lesson 5? In English, past tense verbs are used to talk about actions that have been completed. If you look at this picture, the present is here, and this is the past. For things that happen here, you need to use verbs that are the past tense. English has verbs for the past tense. For the present tense, you would say, I eat breakfast every day. In Chinese, verbs do not have tense, as you know. You would say, 每天我吃早饭. Or if it happened in the past, you would say, 昨天我吃了早饭. In English, you need to change the verb tense. So you have to change eat, which is the present tense, to the past tense, ate. I ate breakfast yesterday. Please look at the definition of simple past tense. 对不起, I cannot pronounce this in Chinese very well, so please take your time to read it. There are some simple rules for making the past tense of many verbs in English. These are rules, so there may be exceptions to the rules. You will learn these exceptions the more you speak and read English. One rule, 第一条规则, is to add ed at the end of the verb. In this example, ask becomes asked. The second rule, 第二条规则, is to add just a d at the end of the verb for verbs that ends with a vowel. You remember the vowels, right, in English? They are A, E, I, O, U. So in this example, move becomes moved just by adding a D. The third rule, 第三条规则. If the verb ends in a Y after a consonant, you change the Y to I and add ED. So in this example here, study ends in a Y and has a consonant just before the Y. So it becomes studied. In this other example here, stay ends in a Y, but it is not preceded, it does not have a consonant in front of it. So this becomes stayed for the past tense. The last rule, 第四条规则, if the verb has a short vowel, usually one vowel, and ends in a consonant, add another consonant before adding ed. So in this example, stop ends in a consonant and has a short vowel, stopped. So you add another consonant, another P, and then you make your past tense verb, stopped. Simple past tense verbs are not always made using these rules. The verbs do not follow these rules are called irregular verbs. Can you see that? Irregular verbs. You have to memorize these irregular verbs. 你要记住这些. You have to memorize this. Please say the words with me. 跟我说. Am, are, is now becomes the past tense of was, were, and was. Begin has the past tense of began. Buy, bought. Buy, bought. Choose, chose. Choose, chose. Do, did. Do, did. Drink, drank. Drink, drank. Drive, drove. Drive, drove. Eat, ate. Fly, flew. Fly, flew. Forget, forgot. Forget, forgot. Give, gave. Give, gave. Can you make sentences using the present tense and the past tense? I like to drink water now. I drank water yesterday. Go ahead and pause the video and make some practice sentences of the present tense and then the past tense. Here are some more simple past tense irregular verbs. 跟我说 have, had. Have, had. Know, knew. Know, knew. Lie, lay. Lie, lay. Ride, rode. Read, read. Notice that read and read are spelled the same but pronounced differently. So the present tense is read, the past tense is read. Rise, rose. See, saw. See, saw. Speak, spoke. Swim, swam. Take, took. Write, wrote. Write, wrote. Some example sentences would be, I like to ride my bike. I rode my bike yesterday. He likes to swim. He swam yesterday. Go ahead and pause the video and make example sentences using the present tense and the past tense. Here's an exercise for you on simple past tense. In each sentence, can you come up with the simple past tense, the correct verb? What is the first one? Ben, you would use the verb have, but you need the past tense of that. So Ben had a toothache yesterday. What about this one? When I, here you would have to use one of the be verbs. When I was a child, I was afraid of dogs. They had a big party last night. What about this one? You would need to use the past tense of read. He read an interesting book last month. What about this verb? Using look. What is the past tense of look? I looked for my keys, but I didn't find them. The last one, she, you would have to use the past tense of write. She wrote a letter yesterday. Let's try some more. When I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. What is the past tense of buy? I bought a new pair of shoes yesterday. The next one, I'm sorry I forgot to bring my homework. In the present tense, you would say, do you have my book? What is the past tense? Did you have my book? What about this one? What is the past tense of stay? Tom stayed home last night. In this exercise, these are all irregular verbs. These are the verbs that you would have to memorize. The first one is pretty easy. I eat breakfast at home. That's the present tense. What is the past tense? I ate breakfast at home. The next one, I sell apples at the store. That is the present tense. What about the past tense? I sold apples at the store. The present tense of this sentence is I drink milk in the kitchen. I drank milk in the kitchen. The boys draw on the paper. The boys drew on the paper. I know her now. What is the past tense of know? I knew her when I was a child. I ride a bicycle to class. That means you do it now, the present tense. I rode a bicycle to class. Notice in this past tense sentence, I rode a bicycle to class, I did not have to put yesterday. I rode a bicycle to class yesterday is also correct, but that just means I just rode it yesterday, the day before today. But if I said I rode a bicycle to class and didn't say yesterday, I could have ridden that bicycle last week. So in English, you don't have to say the time, and it's still, by using the past tense verb, rode, it does mean the past tense. The last one, they swim every day. They swam yesterday. How did you do? These irregular verbs are not that hard. And like I said, you really need to memorize them to understand and speak English. Now let's go on to simple future tense. Do you remember simple future tense from lesson 7? And again, I will use this time chart to show where the present is and in this case, where the future is. The simple future tense is to talk about things in the future. You do this by adding the word will, as in this sentence here. I am eating breakfast is the present tense. The future tense would be here, and you would say that by adding this word will. So what is this sentence here in the future? The present tense is I am eating breakfast. Can you come up with the right future tense sentence? Do you remember that? I will eat breakfast tomorrow. You will probably find that the simple future tense in English is easier to learn because in most cases, you simply make the future tense by adding this word will. In this example I gave, I will eat breakfast tomorrow. You can also say, I will eat breakfast. And that is also meaning the future tense. You did not eat breakfast now. You are not eating breakfast now, but I will eat breakfast tomorrow, or I will eat breakfast later, or simply you can say, I will eat breakfast. Please read this other definition of simple future tense. These are examples of some sentences for the simple future tense. It will rain tomorrow. I will pay for the tickets by credit card. He will carry your bag for you. The baby will not eat his soup. You will do exactly as I say. Will you marry me? Let me say it again. 跟我说 It will rain tomorrow. I will pay for the tickets by credit card. He will carry your bag for you. The baby will not eat his soup. You will do exactly as I say. Will you marry me? In English, the future tense is sometimes made with an abbreviation. You remember the word abbreviation, right? The abbreviation for will is apostrophe IL. So let me say that again. The abbreviation for will is apostrophe LL. So the examples here would be I will, or you can say I'll. We will, or will. You will, or you'll. The plural of that is the same. You will, or you'll. He will, he'll. She will, she'll. You can also say it will. They will, they'll. For it will, for an object, it'll be it'll. IT apostrophe LL. Now the opposite of will is the negative form, will not, and that has the abbreviation won't. We won't, which means the same as we will not. He won't, he will not. They won't. Let's give some more examples of the future tense using the verb to eat. I will eat, that's the singular form. The negative of that would be I will not eat, or I won't eat. You can ask a sentence, ask a question, will I eat? Won't I eat? You will eat, you will not eat, you won't eat. Will you eat? Won't you eat? Please say these sentences with me. He will eat. He will not eat. He won't eat. Will he eat? Won't he eat? We will eat. We will not eat. Will we eat? Won't we eat? Here's an exercise for the simple future tense. Please fill in the blank by using the simple future tense verb. The example here is, will they move to the new house? Yes, they will. Okay, the first sentence. Will she come to the party? No, she will not. You can also say, no, she won't. The second sentence. Will Jack call you back? No, he won't. You could also say, no, he will not. The next sentence, will they go shopping? No, they will not. You can also say, of course, no, they won't. What about this sentence here? Will your children come to the party? Yes, they will. You can also abbreviate this by using apostrophe LL. So what would that sentence be? Yes, go ahead. What is it? Yes, they'll come. Notice if I use the abbreviation, I have to repeat the verb. You cannot simply say, yes, they'll. So again, if you use the abbreviation, you need to repeat the verb. Yes, they'll come. Will they come tomorrow? You can also say, won't they come tomorrow? It really means almost the same thing. You could ask someone, will you come tomorrow? Won't you come tomorrow? Okay. The last one. When will you get back? Let's try some more. Exercise number 2. If you lose your job, what will you do? Pretty easy. In your opinion, remember you're talking about the future now, will she be a good teacher? What about this sentence here? What time will the sun set today? What about number 10? Will she get the job? Will David be home this evening? Will David be at home this evening? What will the weather be like tomorrow? There's someone at the door. Will you get it? You could also say, there's someone at the door. Won't you get it? It means almost the same thing as will you get it. So you can say, there's someone at the door. Will you get it? There's someone at the door. Won't you get it? Really means about the same thing. Here's the last sentence. How will he get here? Let's try another exercise. Can you translate these sentences to English? 我喜欢教英语. I like teaching English. What is the past tense of this sentence? I liked teaching English. What about the future tense? Can you come up with the future tense of the sentence? I will like teaching English. What about the next sentence? 你喜欢不喜欢学英语? What is the present tense? Do you enjoy studying English? How would you say this in the past tense in English? Did you enjoy studying English? What about the future tense? Will you enjoy studying English? What about this next sentence? 你每周都看英语课. Can you translate this sentence? I watch the English lesson every week. What about the past tense? Can you make a past tense sentence of this sentence? I watch the English lesson every week. What about this next sentence? 你会每周都看英语课. So that's the future tense. What would that be? I will watch the English lesson every week. What about this sentence here? 我们会在下一堂课见. We will see you in the next class. And the last sentence. It's going to be hard for me to pronounce in Chinese, but I will try it. 我希望你会继续学习英语. I hope you will keep studying English. That is all I have for this week and then for these English classes. Next, Jim will review auxiliary verbs and adjectives of manner. Priscilla will go over your homework and clauses. 我希望你会继续学习英语. Thank you so much for watching. 谢谢你的收看. 再见. Bye bye.
Last in the series. I really enjoyed the full series that I have supported my parts. And if we ever get back together again, face to face, please let me know what you liked and what you didn't like. It's a pretty short lesson today. mainly review. We're going to go through auxiliary verbs and then adverbs of manner. We've got a few exercises to go through, but mostly this will be review. So let's get started. Okay, auxiliary verbs may, must, and should, and then we'll have plus some others. The definition is an auxiliary verb helps the main full verb and is also called a helping verb. It looks like my picture got in the way on that, but we will do this, a helping verb, and that's really key. I like the term helping verb because it's more descriptive than auxiliary verb. Helping is easy to spell. Auxiliary is on the harder to spell, as well as I'm sure to pronounce for the non-native speakers. So that's the definition of auxiliary verb. They're helping the main verb. So let's go back here. Auxiliary verbs are be, do, have, will, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, ought, will, etc. There are, I'm sure, a few more out there for sure. So here are examples. I think I should study harder to master English. So the auxiliary or the helping verb is should. Study is the main verb, to study harder to master English. I may go to the Mariners game tomorrow. May is the helping verb. I may go. Go is the full verb. The third example, I must pay my rent. That's present tense. Must is the helping verb. Pay is the main verb. So in intermediate, the expectation is that you can use a lot of helping verbs. You could say, I pay my rent, and leave it at that. But to be more exact, I must pay my rent, must being the helping verb. The fourth example, I had to pay my rent, past tense. Helping verbs are in all tenses. And in this case, past tense example, I had to pay. To pay is the main verb. So we have a few examples following this, and we'll go through them pretty quickly. This might look familiar. You probably saw this in, I believe, lesson 2. But it's auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, may, must, and should. So here we go with another example. The teacher may be late today. So may is the helping verb. To be late is the main verb. May I leave now? Same thing. May is a helping. To leave is the main verb. Must. She must be stuck in traffic. So must is the helping verb. It's to be stuck, actually. You can get stuck. That's an action as well, to be stuck. You must not eat my food. Must, in this case, not eat, to eat my food. Pretty obvious there. Should, you should try this new bar. Again, should is the helping verb. Auxiliary verb is the technical term. As I said, I think helping verb describes it better. He should be home soon, but I'm not sure. Okay. So you can pause your video if you want. You can look at these examples here, and we'll see. So do that, read through them, and then I will put in the answers. So I'm going to pause for about 10 seconds. You can pause your computer if you want. If not, anyway, I'll give you 10 seconds. Okay. You can unpause your computer. I blank go to see a doctor. So I must go to see a doctor. I think I blank be sick. Well, that's pretty obvious. That would be must, may be sick, or must be sick. Another helping verb. Unfortunately, my boss tells me I still blank go to work even if I'm sick. I must go to work even if I'm sick. Now, in today's environment, COVID-19, your boss could get fired for that. So anyway, what blank I do? What do you think that is? What may? Oh, okay. In this case, should I do? What may I do or should I do? So there are a couple different ways to use these helping verbs. Okay, next page. So we're going to may, should, and must. As the first, though, of my presentation pointed out, there are lots of helping verbs. According to the weather report, blank rain tomorrow again. So think about it. Should rain tomorrow, may rain tomorrow, must rain tomorrow. Well, you wouldn't say must rain. You could, but let's see, should rain tomorrow. May would work as well. I am not sure what to do. I like my boss, but the pay is low. I start to look for another job. Okay, so there are a couple answers. You could use all three, actually. I may start to look for another job. I should start to look for another job. I must start to look for another job. May, in this case. The police visited her at work. It blank be something serious. I would say it's must. You could say may, should, but must is probably it. So these are helping verbs. Use the term auxiliary verbs, but I prefer the term helping verbs. We're going to keep going here. In the US, it's the law, all men between 18 and 26 years of age blank register for selective service. Is it may? No. Is it should? No. It's a must. It's the law. May implies I might, should implies, maybe I should, but must register for selective service. There you go. During flu season, doctors say we get plenty of rest and eat right to stay healthy. May, no. Should, that would work. We should get plenty of rest, or must get plenty of rest. I would say should. It's should. Son, if you have finished your homework, you should watch TV, must watch TV. Well, you don't have to tell your kids very often you must watch TV. So the answer would be may. There you go. Pretty simple. Okay. Adverbs of manner. What's the definition? I'm going to drop my picture here. Adverbs of manner are used to tell us the way or how something is done. Adverbs of manner are usually placed after the main verb or after the object. He left the room quickly. Quickly is the adverb. If you're asked to identify an adverb, the giveaway is almost always ly at the end of a word. Quickly. And we'll go through a lot of them on the next page here. But here are some examples. He swims well. So there's not ly there, but well is the adverb. He ran quickly, ly. She spoke softly, ly. I'll get my picture back up here. James coughed loudly to attract her attention, ly. Loudly coughed. He plays the flute beautifully. It's after the direct object in this case. Beautifully is the adverb. He ate the chocolate cake greedily. Greedily is the adverb. We don't generally use that term, greedily, but it was an example I found. So that's that. Okay. So here are adverbs of manner, and almost all of these have ly on them. You know, I'm not going to read through them all, but this is really a good reference. Just zipping through here, the only one that doesn't have an ly is fast there over to the right that I can tell. So if you're in an English test or, you know, somebody says identify the adverbs, think back to these examples, but also think back to ly because it describes. Let's go back up. The adverbs are manners used to tell the way or how something is done. So you have a verb, and then it tells how it's done. Again, he swims well, he ran quickly, she spoke softly, James coughed loudly, he plays the flute beautifully. In other words, or how something is done. So that's today's lesson. It's pretty quick, a pretty quick review. As I said, any kind of feedback, this is the end of the 10 series of lessons. Any kind of feedback would be much appreciated. So you take care, and we might see you either through Zoom or maybe in person, who knows, the end of June. So thank you very much. Bye.
大家好，再一次是我。Hi everybody, it's me again, 苏水兰 Priscilla, 你的英文老师。欢迎来到中级英文第10课，第10周。So welcome to the 10th week of your English class, Intermediate ESL. Okay. I know that teacher Warren has talked about simple past tense and simple future tense. 简单去过时 and 简单会来时. And teacher Jim has already talked to you about auxiliary verbs, 助动词, and adverbs of manner, 情态副词. And I'm going to talk to you about your homework last week, lesson 9's homework, and I'm also going to talk to you again, 再一次, about clauses. So 我今天要讨论的主题是上个星期的作业和词句和词句短语. Okay, let's just go ahead to this next slide. Okay, so here's the slide about the homework for lesson 1, 第9课的作业. And also, if you see on this slide, is the slide of this picture of this cloud. This cloud, it's called 叫做这个云，这种云叫做 lenticular cloud， 因为看起来像一个镜头 a lens, like a lens. Okay, I get it. Like an eyeglass lens. The shape of it. So more it's a shape like this. Maybe my lenses just aren't big enough. 镜头. And so you see this cloud. All right, it's just an interesting place, Wenatchee, Washington, on the east side, 东边, of the Cascade Mountains. Okay, let's continue. 我们继续吧. So the homework was to write a story about your favorite place in Seattle. And I wrote this story, and I shared this story with you last week. I just showed it to you. So what I'm going to do now, because I don't have anything from students. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read this story so you can practice listening. And then we're going to look at some of the grammar points in this story, because also the assignment was to 试试用你最近学习的语法 as well as words, vocabulary that you learned. So use grammar that you learned this recently and to use words. So let me read this to you. I think the best neighborhood in Seattle is the International District. It's the place where I know I can always find the food that I like at stores or restaurants. I get there by bus. Many buses go to the International District. Sometimes I can meet friends at Hinghey Park. Okay, sometimes I can meet friends at Hinghey Park where we play ping pong. This park is at the intersection of 6th Avenue South and King Street, east of the train station. In the park is a beautiful, old, Chinese-style pavilion. The friends that I meet are all very good ping pong players, but if I may say, we are equally matched. And here, this is what that means, equally matched, meaning of this term. Next year, my cousin plans to take a holiday and visit me. He plays ping pong horribly, but I am going to bring him to the International District and the park anyway. And that's what this means. If he is homesick for home cooking, I will take him to eat at one of the International District restaurants. Okay. So I hope maybe you looked at this story, just think about some of the words and think about some of the grammar that we learned this semester. Now I'm going to go over some of the grammar. One of the things that One of the things that we learned this semester was simple present tense, 现在简单式. And as you see, all underlined in red are simple past tense verbs, 动词. I think that's simple present tense. Simple present tense. Now, I wonder, do you know what the past tense for think is? Thought. Okay, so think is present tense. Is, that's a to be verb. Here's a contraction. That's when two words are put together, made shorter. But right here, if we took the contraction, if we broke it up, if we broke the contraction, it would be it is instead of it's. It is. So that's why I have it underlined here. Know is present tense. Past tense is knew. I can. Find, found. I like. liked, get, got would be past tense. Many buses go, went would be past tense. Sometimes I can meet, that's a verb phrase, a 动词断语, I can meet, verb phrase. And this word here is an auxiliary verb. So 助动词. Play, played would be past tense. Past tense is 去过事. Okay. This is simple present. Is again, is meet, are, may say, and may is a auxiliary, a 助动词. I may, but if I may say, remember may is 可以, 可能, 不确定, okay. And then are is a to be verb. Plans. Oh, I don't know why this line is over here. Plans, and he plays. It means to go here. He is homesick. Okay, so those are some simple present tense. Let's look at some other grammar points that are in this story. Simple future. Simple future here is underlined in black. I am going to bring. Not now, but I'm planning. I'm thinking, well, 打算, I'm planning to do. I will take him to eat. So, 未来简单事. Let's look at what else is in there. There's a superlative adjective in here, and that's underlined in green. Remember 比较级, 形容词 and 最高级形容词. So I think the best. So because it's best, I'm talking about more than two neighborhoods, more than two things. When it's two things, it's a 比较级形容词 that you would use. And then so if it was only two, it would be better if I was comparing two things. But here it's comparing all the restaurants. Oh, I mean, all the neighborhoods. I'm talking about neighborhoods. All the neighborhoods. Okay, best. All right, is there anything else on this page that I'm going to show you? Well, let's see. Well, order of adjectives was a grammar point that we talked about. And order of adjectives is 形容词的顺序. So you remember the first thing in order of adjectives, the first adjective is the 冠词, the article. In the park is and then the quality, which is really an opinion, 意见, beautiful. And then age, old. And then what type or kind, Chinese style. And then the noun, the 名词. Okay. Here's another one. All, okay, so that's a quantity. And here's a quality, 意见. And then what type of player? A ping pong player. So there's the order of adjectives used in this. Let's see what else we have. An auxiliary verb. I pointed this out before. Can is an auxiliary verb. May is an auxiliary verb. 助动词. What else? I have some adverbs. I used adverbs of frequency. So 频率的副词, and those are always, sometimes. And I also use some 情态副词, and that is equally and horribly. I think that's it. Anything else? Aha. And there's a clause. Let's see, where are the clauses? Okay. So let's look at these clauses. It's the place. And here's the clause underlined in blue, 蓝色线, where I know I can always find the food that I like. There's two clauses here. The first clause is it's the place, and the word where, because this word, when you write a clause, refers to 只是一个地点. So where, so the place is a 地点, and where is connected to it. So it's the place where I know I can always find the food. Well, the next idea is food that I like. Okay, and so because we're talking, it's this, that goes with food. Okay, so here's another clause, 自助. Sometimes I can meet friends at Hinghe Park. Well, Hinghe Park is a place, 一个地方. Okay, so the 自助词 is where, because it refers to a place. Let's see, another one is down here, that I meet, the friends that I meet. So now here you can use that. Americans often use that. That can be for people, for animals, for ideas, for many things. You could also use who, the friends who I meet. In which case it would be whom. We didn't teach you that though. Whom I meet. That's why we didn't teach it. It's a little bit more complicated, but that works very well here. The friends that I meet, that's very, you often hear that 平常, 你会平常听 the friends that I meet, that, okay? So, and that's those. So I'm going to read this story one more time so you can hear the English one more time. And I hope that you try to write a story. I'd hope you try to use all these different grammar points, 语法, and some of the other, well, one of the grammar things that you learned, this was location and direction, and that's here. The park is at the intersection of 6th Avenue South and King Street East of the train station. That was in maybe lesson 2 or lesson 3. All right, I'm going to read this over and for some listening practice. I think the best neighborhood in Seattle is the International District. It's the place where I know I can always find the food that I like at stores or restaurants. I get there by bus. Many buses go to International District. Sometimes I can meet friends at Hinghe Park, where we play ping pong. This park is at the intersection of 6th Avenue South and King Street, east of the train station. In the park is a beautiful old Chinese-style pavilion. The friends that I meet are all very good ping pong players. But if I may say, we are equally matched. Next year, my cousin plans to take a holiday and visit me. He plays ping pong horribly, but I am going to bring him to the International District and the park anyway. If he is homesick for home cooking, I will take him to eat at one of the International District restaurants. Okay, so let's move on to lesson 10. And my part in lesson 10 is to talk about clauses. So as I said, my topic tonight, what I want to talk about tonight are clauses, or tonight, because I'm recording tonight, 我今天晚上的要讨论的主题是 更多之助词和 to do 短语的练习。So let's get on with that. And so what I want to review first, 复习, is clause goals, some information about clauses. So that's 目标, okay, 自主短语的目标. Clauses let you combine, 合成, okay, let you combine two sentences into one, okay, 将两个句子合成一个. Clauses connect two related ideas into a single sentence. 这就把两个相关的想法结合成一个句子. Right? So let's look at an example. The example is a sentence. The clothes that she bought are expensive. And as you see, the clause word, the 词助词 is that. So I got that. That's in red. 红字. So the two ideas, so it connects ideas, related ideas. Okay. So the two ideas here are the 相关的想法 are the clothes are expensive and she bought the clothes. That is the clause word in red. Okay. That replaces the word, the clothes, replaces these words in the clause. All right, so that 在这个词组替代 the clothes. That connects the two ideas. So that 把两个想法结合. So there's that. That, and it's talking about the clothes. So we have the sentence, the clothes are expensive. And she bought the clothes. So here is referring to the clothes that she bought are expensive. That's how you say all that. So these are the rules, all sorts of things that we talked about last week. How to choose, 如何选择正确的这组词. How do you choose? 如何选择? Okay. So here's the words that you use, the 这组词. And here's the explanation of the usage, the 用法. So who is, it indicates 只是人. You don't use it for anything else. The woman who works at the bank is my neighbor. Okay, 那个在银行工作的女生是我的邻居. So you write it this way, and this is what it looks like in English. The woman who works at the bank. Okay, so you have this word here is kind of a clue that we have in English. There's a clause there. There's an idea. One idea is the woman is my neighbor, and the other idea is the woman works in the bank. Okay, another word that we use for clauses is the word whose. So it refers to a person, but it's a little different. It indicates possession. So 只是拥有权. And it can be also used for animals. Not too often, but yes, you can use it for animals. So here's the example, and this was in lesson 9, 第9课 slides. But the man whose car was stolen went to the police station. The man, okay, so here's possession. Whose car? It's his car. The man's car, the car that the man owns, his car was stolen. The man went to the police station. The man's car was stolen. Two ideas. Two related ideas. 两个相关的想法, right? But because we're talking about the car and it's the man's car, we use whose, right? And you can go ahead and read the Chinese. You don't need me to do that to see where it comes from. All right, that is used a lot in especially in spoken language. 口语. 就是动物物品思想人等等 everything. So here's two examples. The animal that is barking furiously is our dog. So the two related ideas, 两个相关的想法 is the animal is barking furiously. The animal is our dog. The animal that is barking furiously is our dog. You might hear people say the animal who is barking furiously. This is better when it's an animal. Okay, another sentence, the apples that my friend gave me are delicious. Okay, so here's a 物品, right? And here's a 动物. Okay, moving on, which. Now, which is used a lot like that, and it's 动物物品思想 not people so much, but it's important. This part's important. 只是特定的双子. Okay, so it's pointing out specific thing. You're referring to a specific thing when you're talking about which. A little bit different than that. So here's the sentence. So this is the situation. This is the 情况. At a restaurant, you're pointing to something in the menu and you're saying, this is the dish which I would like to try. Okay? So, 这是我想尝试的菜. Okay? And you're pointing to it. So that's important. And finally, we have the word where. And we looked at that in the sentences before, in the sentences in the homework assignment that I wrote, 我写作. So where indicates a place. Okay, so 只是地点. This is the town where I grew up. 我长大的是这个城镇. Okay, so just finally to remind you, draw your attention to which and that can be exchanged. 可以交换. But 但是记住 which 比 that 要暗示更具体的选择. Okay, so it's indicating something more specific. All right. Clauses. So this is an idea I want you to think about. The reason we teach clauses is because clauses help people express complex ideas. 这就帮人们表达复杂的想法. And I think that you want to try to tell people more than just the very simple things when you're trying to speak English. So practicing clauses is good. Okay. So here's the exercise. I want you to combine ideas and write in English this sentence. So 把两个相关的想法合成一个句子. Right? And here are the two ideas. The first idea is 一个 is this is the Chinese for this man's name. That's George Floyd, but the Chinese is only having how to say his name, Floyd. So Floyd. Okay, so Floyd 被一个Minneapolis. This is the word Minneapolis. That's a city. So this is a person's name, and this is a city, Minneapolis. And maybe you've heard about this on the news lately. Okay. So Floyd by 被一个 Minneapolis 的白人警察压在地上. So that's the first idea. I don't want to put the sentence in English because I want you to put it in English. And the other idea is 该警察后来被指控 which means accused 谋杀. So this is actually current news, and here's the source. 来源 is the New York Times, 纽约时报中文网 yesterday, 昨天 So 暂停视频一下 and 试试做这个练习. And the exercise is to put these two ideas in English in one sentence using clauses. Okay. So maybe you pause the video. 可能你暂停视频一下 maybe. I don't know. But here is the sentence using a clause, putting two ideas together. Floyd was crushed to the ground by a white police officer who was later 后来 charged 指控 with murder 谋杀. Okay, 压在地上. Okay, and here's the white police officer. 白人警察. So there's your clause word who. It's who because it's referring to the police officer. You're talking about the police officer. And the clause is who was later charged with murder. That's the clause. Two ideas. This one's kind of easy because the first sentence and then the second. I want you to notice this comma here. See this? This little mark. 平常. You use this in between one idea and the clause. And when you're reading English, this can help you know. Here's one idea, here's another. And the word that starts the clause will also tell you what it's referring to. And it's almost always right after. So here's the 名词 and here's the 自主词, and there it comes right after. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here's another exercise, another practice. the same thing. I want you to 把两个相关的商法合成一个句子。Okay, so here are the two ideas, 两个想法。第一个 is this, 香港抗议者 protesters 现在面对的是许多威胁，威胁包括中国共产党在内。Okay, so 包括 and 在内 means including. So that's one idea. 第一个想法，第一次想法，第一个。And then the second is 中国共产党已经失去耐心的。Okay, and 耐心 in English is patience. So that's here it is, from June 2nd, from the New York Times. So 暂停视频一下，请你们试试做这个练习。All right. Maybe you paused and tried to do it. Maybe you didn't. This is the two sentences together in English. Hong Kong protesters now face many threats, including the Chinese Communist Party, which has already lost patience. So where's the clause? There it is. Which has already lost patience. One way you know it's a clause is the clause word. Which. And there you have that comma again, that punctuation mark, that little mark that separates one idea and the other. Now there's another comma here. It's right here. And that's because this is another 短语. But that's not part of today's discussion. 短语. There's more of these marks in English, more than in Chinese. Okay, let's see. I think that's it for tonight's lesson. So stay well, 保健康, and see you next semester. 下学期见. Bye-bye.